The unseen hand. Humanity's constructs versus nature's design.
To truly comprehend human behavior and society, we must look beyond polite justifications and question the narratives we are given. By acknowledging the deeper motivations and subjective realities at play, we can cultivate a more nuanced, compassionate, and insightful view of ourselves and the world around us. The unseen hand, humanity's constructs versus nature's design. The illusion of control, humanity's manufactured divides and nature's inevitable reckoning. Humanity, in its ceaseless quest for order and dominion, has woven an intricate, yet ultimately ephemeral, web of constructs upon the earth. Consider the equator, latitude, and longitude, mere figments of our collective imagination, etched onto the globe to guide our passage across seas and through skies. Yet we've distorted even these benevolent tools, seizing upon the equator not merely as a navigational aid, but as an arbitrary demarcation, rending our singular Earth into manufactured halves. Nature, in its pristine wisdom, provided two natural poles, the north and the south, embodying a fundamental duality and balance. Driven by insatiable greed, ego, and myriad compulsions, humanity has manufactured its own poles, creating artificial divisions and imbalances within the natural order. This self-inflicted divergence from nature's design stands as a profound philosophical indictment of our species. This raises a crucial question. Why do humans expend colossal energy attempting to correct these disparities, often through ineffective, piecemeal measures, when Mother Nature is ultimately destined to restore equilibrium in her own time and manner? Nature, in its inherent and immutable wisdom, possesses an unparalleled ability to rectify the imbalances mankind so recklessly generates. This correction can manifest in dramatic, violent upheavals or in subtle, gradual shifts, often unfolding so imperceptibly that humanity fails to recognize the ongoing restoration. The wheels of nature, though they grind painstakingly slow, grind with an unflinching precision, leaving no truth unaddressed and no price unpaid. There is no escaping this fundamental law. Consider the historical example of the Industrial Revolution in the West. Vast quantities of coal fueled unprecedented industrial growth. Did this consumption miraculously emit oxygen, or did it release the very carbon dioxide that now threatens the global climate, leading to the imposition of restrictions and carbon taxes on the developing world? This hypocrisy underscores the profound disconnect between human action, its inevitable consequences, and the ultimate reckoning by nature. This perspective compels us to reflect on our place within the grand ecological tapestry. It challenges the anthropocentric view that posits humanity as the ultimate arbiter of its environment, instead highlighting our subservience to the unyielding forces of natural law. Our attempts to control and dominate nature often lead to greater disequilibrium, which nature will inevitably rebalance, often with consequences far beyond our current comprehension or control. The true wisdom, perhaps, lies not in striving against nature's current, but in learning to harmonize with its inherent rhythm and respect its enduring power. The missing piece in the great global reset, beyond pragmatism to profound transformation, the prevailing discourse on the great global reset and new global order frequently centers on a pragmatic, almost clinical recalibration of systems. Economic rebalancing, from a unipolar to a multipolar financial landscape, with discussions on de-dollarization, new reserve currencies, and regional trade agreements. Geopolitical realignment, the rise of new alliances, the decline of old hegemonies, and the constant jostling for influence in a more fragmented world. Technological transformation, the impact of AI, quantum computing, and bioengineering on industries, labor, and societal structures. Environmental imperatives, the urgent need for sustainable practices and climate action. However, the absence of a universal commitment to equitable prosperity over inherent exploitation is indeed the silent, yet most significant, missing piece. The historical pattern of nations achieving personal benefits at the cost of other nations, big and small, has been the bedrock of previous world orders. What is often unarticulated is that a truly new global order, one that genuinely departs from the cycles of exploitation, would require a redefinition of prosperity, moving beyond purely GDP-driven metrics to a holistic understanding of well-being that includes ecological health, social equity, cultural preservation, and individual dignity. True prosperity cannot be built on the impoverishment of any segment of humanity or the planet. An ethic of interdependence, not just competition. While competition is natural, an enduring global order demands a recognition that the long-term well-being of any nation is inextricably linked to the well-being of all. The jostling for space must evolve into a collaborative pursuit of shared solutions, especially for global challenges like climate change, pandemics, and economic instability. Dismantling inherited structures of disadvantage. This isn't just about new agreements, but about actively addressing the legacies of historical exploitation, unequal trade terms, and debt burdens that continue to shackle many developing nations. It requires a willingness from historically dominant powers to reevaluate their positions and contribute to genuine restorative justice, not merely aid. Empowerment from the ground up. The new trend to stand up against exploitation is crucial. It signifies a growing awareness and assertion of agency from those historically marginalized. A truly profound reset would empower these voices, integrating their perspectives and needs into the very architecture of the new global order, rather than merely accommodating them within pre-existing frameworks. This implies a shift from top-down imposition to bottom-up participation. A moral compass for technology. Rapid technological advancements, while offering immense potential, also present new vectors for exploitation, e.g., data colonialism, algorithmic bias, monopolistic control of critical technologies. A profound reset would embed ethical considerations and principles of equitable access and benefit sharing at the heart of technological governance. This unpretentious perspective highlights a crucial element for a genuinely equitable future: the burgeoning, grassroots-level resistance to historical patterns of exploitation. This rising tide of resistance, whether it manifests in demands for fair trade, environmental justice, or equitable access to resources and technology, is perhaps the most hopeful and transformative aspect of the current global recalibration. It's precisely the kind of insight that mainstream geopolitical thought often overlooks, coming instead from the perspective of a common citizen who observes the profound shifts beneath the surface. A world divided, hope and trepidation in a shifting global order. As events unfold on the world stage, a clear schism emerges in the global response. On one side stand nations gripped by profound concern, apprehension, and a sense of impending trepidation. They observe the unfolding drama with an acute awareness of the potential ramifications for their established status and influence within the international community. For these countries, the stakes are high, and the possible outcomes threaten to disrupt a familiar world order they have largely shaped and benefited from. Conversely, a second group of nations views the same events with a palpable sense of optimism and bright expectations. They envision a future where these developments usher in an era of improved economic conditions, significant national development, and a newfound voice on the global stage. These countries, long subjected to rules and systems crafted without their genuine consent and often perceiving themselves as exploited under the guise of world order, eagerly anticipate a more democratic and equitable landscape. They aspire to freely engage in trade with partners of their choosing, utilizing their preferred currencies, unburdened by dictates or the constraints of a financial system in which they have no meaningful say. This divergence highlights a fundamental tension between those seeking to preserve the existing power structures and those yearning for a more inclusive and just global framework. The unfolding events are not merely a series of incidents. They are a crucible in which the future balance of power and the very definition of global order are being forged. In this world grappling with complex challenges and a volatile environment, one nation deftly navigates a treacherous minefield, maintaining a delicate balance without resorting to chest-thumping or self-aggrandizement. This player, striving for an equitable distribution of development across all sectors, is Bharat. It stands as both the catalyst for change and the great balancer amidst these trying circumstances.